Good morning, second grade. Today is Monday, June 1st. So we begin a new month today, and you are almost done with second grade. 2 more days after today. Now, I want you to look at the matrix for these 3 days, and you will see that it's a lot different than the other matrices that we've been using. This one is just full of may-do activities, and they are activities that are related to what we typically would have been doing in school for some of those extra end-of-the-year activities like spring fling. So look through the matrix for week 10 and choose what you want to do. And I think you will enjoy those activities very much. I want to make sure that you know about our parade today. The parade is from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and the staff from Nevlin will be spreading joy to all in the East Austin neighborhood. And so you can just sit outside your house in your driveway or on your lawn, get yourself a chair or a blanket and make yourself comfortable, and you can watch for us to come by. Now, if you live outside the East Austin neighborhood, if you live outside the area right around Nevlin, then just go ahead and come in your car and you can park and then sit in Nevlin's grassy area, like maybe kind of in front of the tennis courts there or near the playground. But be sure to spread yourself out from other families. Make sure you remember to keep that physical distancing from others. And we can't wait to come by and wave at you and just spread some joy and just celebrate our Nevlin Night Pride together. So I hope I see you later today. Remember, that is going to start at 1 o'clock and we should be done by 3, maybe even a little bit earlier. And then on Wednesday, we are going to be doing our drive-by goodbyes. And the different members of Nevlin's staff will be stationed in different areas around the school. The second grade teachers will be sitting right in front of the tennis courts in lawn chairs. So you can come in your car and you can drive by and wave at us. And then if you stop and park, we do need you to stay inside your car for safety reasons, but we will come to you and I have some things to give you, like your report card and then maybe a few other summer goodies for you as well. So be sure to do that on Wednesday from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. We're calling that the drive-by goodbyes. And after you come and see the second grade teachers in front of the tennis court area, then you can go ahead and keep heading east and then turn so that you go by the office door and you'll see other teachers there like the interventionists and your specials like art, music, and Fayed. And then if you turn again, turn right, then you'll see the 3rd and 4th grade teachers and you can drive by and wave goodbye to them. So that tells you all about the drive-by goodbyes. So I'm sorry you won't be able to get out of your car, but we will come to you and hand you what you need. And you can roll down your windows and I'll still get to see your beautiful faces. So today I have found a book that I thought you would enjoy. Our theme today is dogs. And I found the book called Walter the Farting Dog. Now, do you already know this story? If you do, you know that it's a really fun story and it's worth hearing again. And if you don't know this story, then you get to hear it for the first time. And then I have a special treat for you to see after you hear the story. So here we go. You can just look at the pictures today. You don't have to follow along with all the words. I'll just make sure you can see the pictures. Walter the Farting Dog. Now, isn't that an interesting illustration? So silly. Betty and Billy brought Walter home from the dog pound. Nobody wanted him, said Billy. But we love him, said Betty. Well, he smells awful, said their mother. I think you had better give him a bath. Mother walked in and said, he still smells awful. And that's when they got the first clue. The telltale bubbles in the water. He's probably just a little nervous, said Mother hopefully. His stomach must be upset. But Walter's stomach wasn't upset. Walter's stomach was fine. He felt perfectly normal. He just farted a lot. He did it when he bathed. He did it when he played with Betty and Billy. He did it when he walked around the house. He did it in the dining room. He did it in the kitchen. And he did it in his sleep. That dog farts morning, noon, and night, said Father. He can't help it, Daddy, said Betty and Billy. They didn't mind Walter's farts. So what if he farts? Billy said to Betty when they were alone in their room with Walter. Betty agreed. Walter agreed too. He sat there looking innocently around, farting. Take him to the vet, said Father. Do you think the vet will help? Farting, said the vet, or rectal flatulence, as we say in the medical profession, and he prescribed a change in diet, so he wants him to eat some different foods. Do you think that will work? It might. They gave Walter every kind of dog food. He farted. They tried him on cat food. He farted. They gave him hot dogs, hamburgers, and lettuce and tomato sandwiches. They gave him fried chicken. They gave him rabbit food. They made him a vegetarian. No matter what that dog eats, he turns it into farts, roared Father. Walter got the blame for everybody else's farts too. If Uncle Irv let one slip, he just went and stood near Walter. Then all he had to say was, Walter, and everyone would look at poor Walter. So they blamed him even when it wasn't his fault. He has to go back to the pound, said Father. No, Daddy, please, begged Betty and Billy. Don't send Walter away. He goes tomorrow, said Father. They pleaded. Walter farted. It was all over. That night, Betty and Billy cried in their beds, and Walter looked at them unhappily. Oh, Walter, said Betty, you've got to stop farting, because Father is going to send you back to the pound tomorrow, said Billy. Walter knew how serious the situation was. He'd never see Betty and Billy again. He resolved to hold in his farts forever. When Betty and Billy fell asleep, he walked down to the kitchen to see if there was anything around to eat. He managed to open the cupboard door with his nose and found the 25-pound bag of low-fart dog biscuits the vet had prescribed for him, which had made him fart even more. Even though he knew they made him fart more, he couldn't resist. He ate the entire bag. Very tasty, said Walter to himself. And then he went and lay down on the sofa. A gigantic gas bubble began to build inside him. This is going to be trouble, he said to himself nervously. He was afraid of what might happen if he let it go. He thought maybe the house would explode, so he kept it in. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was torture. But he had resolved never to fart again. His future depended on it. As he lay there with his tail wrapped tightly between his legs, he heard a noise at the window. He watched it slowly open. A pair of burglars came through. They dropped silently into the kitchen. Watch out for the dog, said one of the burglars. He won't bite, said the other. He's a wimp. Walter might have bitten them, except he was so filled with gas he couldn't move. They tied a rag around his snout so he couldn't bark. Okay, whispered the first burglar. Let's clear the place out. They took everything they could get their hands on. Walter wanted to stop them, but he was having unbearable gas pains. He rolled on his back and waved his paws in the air. He gnashed his teeth. We've got it all, said the second burglar. Let's go. Can you make a prediction of what might happen? Whoa, study this picture. That's when Walter let it fly. It was the worst fart of his life. It made a tremendous noise and shot him across the room. A hideous cloud filled the air. The burglars clutched their throats, unable to breathe. With tears in their eyes, they raced for the window. They tried to grab their bag with all the valuables in it, but their arms were too weak. Let's get out of here. They jumped out the window and ran up the block, choking and gasping for air. Still blinded by Walter's attack, they stepped into the headlights of an approaching police car. "Hold it right there," said the policeman. When father and mother came down in the morning, they found the open window and they saw the bag with their valuables in it, and Walter was sitting beside it. He still had the rag tied around his snout. You'd have to say he looked heroic. "He saved the silverware," cried mother. "He saved the VCR," cried father. "Good dog, Walter. You are our dog, even if you do fart all the time." So he saved the day. Do you think now he'll get to stay? And so the family learned to live with Walter, the hero dog. And that's the end of our tale. And it says, Walter's Wonder Park, 100% natural gas powered. That's kind of a silly story, isn't it? I thought you would enjoy that. Well, since we're thinking about dogs, I want to tell you a little bit more about our dog, Weston. And you've seen Weston before, and I told you before that he is a Labrador Retriever. And Weston has been in many hunt tests. And so I want to show you some of the ribbons that Weston has won. So we're going to go downstairs. He's got his own special room, and he has some ribbons that he has won. So I'm going to take you down there to see those. Weston has his own room. Oh, there. Those are his ribbons. And he won those ribbons in some hunt tests. And in the hunt tests, he has to do some special kinds of retrieving. So for the next part of my video, I'm going to show some of the retrieves that he does. And they're pretty easy retrieves for Weston, but I thought you might be interested in watching. So that's what you'll get to see next. And then I hope I will see you this afternoon for the parade. Okay, so second grade, I'm going to have you see Weston do some retrieves. He's a really good retriever. I'm going to make the sound of a duck call, and I'm going to throw the bumper. This is the bumper. And then Todd is, about 100 yards away, about the length of a football field, and Weston will retrieve it. So, here we go. Okay, and then Todd sends him by saying Weston. He sits and waits, and he doesn't go until he hears his name. So Todd said Weston. It's pretty fast. His hair stands on end because he gets so excited. There, he got it. He's got to run back fast. And I'll keep the camera rolling. We'll do one more. This time I'll turn a different direction. And then Weston has to sit when he comes back with the bumper. And then Todd can take it out of his mouth. So let's do another one. Now this one really... Oh, I didn't throw it up very high. That one looks like a duck. And here he comes. Fast. gets so excited. And you can see how when he gets back, he sits down. Todd can take it from him. Okay, so this part is a little bit different. Now Todd, Mr. Mickelson, has put out 2 bumpers, but Weston doesn't know where they are. They're somewhere out there. And Todd will send him out, and Weston knows he's supposed to go straight out from how Todd sends him, and then when he blows the whistle, Weston has to stop, and Mr. Mickelson will show him what direction to go.
That'll be the second retrieve.
Okay, the first retrieve, he's going to go right straight out from where Todd sends him and go and find the bumper. See, and he knew to go when he heard his name. Try to zoom in a little bit. See, he went right to it. He found it and came back. He's working on it. He gets so excited that his hair stands on end. Now this time, Mr. Mickelson will send him out, and Weston will stop when he hears the whistle. And then Todd's going to do a signal. He signaled him to go that direction, and Weston knew to go that direction to find it. See if you can see his hair stands on end because he's so excited. He loves this so much. Good job, Weston. Oh, he's going to send him a 3rd time. There's another one out there? There's another one out there. Did he find it? He sure did. Good job, Weston. Okay, so Mr. Mickelson is going to send Weston out in a straight line, but then he's going to blow the whistle to tell him to stop, and he's going to tell him to go get the other bumper. The whistle tells him to stop and look at Todd for direction. And he's telling him to go left, so he's got to find the one that's over there instead. And he found it.